Hey, it's Drybear. The Season 1 invasion mechanics are live in the First Descendant, and they are driving people crazy. So today I'm going to walk you through all of the invasion mechanics and what to look out for to understand what's going on, because many of them aren't well explained. The first thing is the seasonal progression mechanic, inversion reinforcement. When you first log into the game, if you haven't yet done so, you will have a brand new purple quest in Albion that will allow you to complete a few stages. You have to do a couple dungeons and some outposts and a special operation. Once you complete that, you will unlock the inversion reinforcement, and this is your seasonal progression mechanic, and it's actually very straightforward. You have these 5 categories here, and when you go into your inventory, like when you actually open your inventory, you'll see this down below in the bottom left, so you can actually click on inversion reinforcement, and you'll have these 5 categories. You will need to level up your inversion Iron Heart in order to unlock all of these. So you will need to buy 4 in each category to unlock these all, and then you'll unlock the last one in the category. And the reason there's a gap here to separate these two is all of these last ones are permanent stats that you get for completing that category. So all of these bonuses are going to be permanent for you for the whole season until Season 1 is over. Then you're unlocking all of these in 4 in each category, and you can have 1 from each category activated in order to show down here. So you can have 1 from 3 different categories activated as a buff, so we can swap this here into a different slot if we wanted to, so we can take that off and put this one on. You can have 1 from each category as buffs. Most of these are Kiss Curse, like they have plus and minus on them, but depending on the content you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish, you may want a different 3 selected down here for your build. Then once you have invasions unlocked, every single day 2 dungeons will be marked as invasion dungeons. You can see this invasion disruption timer down here. I have done all of the dungeons for the day, so this is unlocked, and you will be able to go to the infiltration operations terminal and look at all of the dungeons here. So I have this is before I actually unlocked it, like this is some back here. So you'll be able to go to the dungeon and unlock it, and you'll have 2 dungeons every single day that will be set as invasion options. You'll have an invasion icon on it as well. So on this screen you can see the amount of disruption that you can have. In this screen you can also see that there's 1 dungeon in Echo Swamp and 1 dungeon in Ogna Desert that are set as the invasion for the day. You can do each of these invasion dungeons twice for a total of 4 times per day, and that will give you your maximum rewards on your XP for your progressional mechanic, and it also will give you chances at drops for Haley and a bunch of gold. Each one of them gives like 1.2 million, so you get a lot of gold from this by completing them. It's 5 million total, plus a good amount of drops as well that kind of make everything easier, and it's also the most consistent way to get drops for making or crafting Haley, though there is a limit of 4 per day until that timer resets. Once you click on an invasion, you will have the option to do it as a normal dungeon or as an invasion dungeon. Currently, all of the invasion dungeons cannot be done in group. You have to do them in solo, and they are all timed based on how fast you complete them. You will get rewards on your speed. So clicking to the next screen, you can see that how many you've completed and how many particles you've gotten, which is your XP, the possible rewards, and the times you need to complete it in order to get more value out of it. The better you do, the higher chance you'll get multiples of the Haley drops from it, and you'll get better rewards on top of that if you complete it in time. And you only get one of your completions taken away is if you complete the entire dungeon. So if you feel like you're going to get a silver or a bronze and you want to try again, just hit escape, go back to Albion, try the dungeon again. It won't take one of your entries until you've completed the dungeon and gotten a final score. Now, once you're in the dungeon, each dungeon has a different set of Simon Says style mechanics that are poorly explained and represented on screen. So let's walk through all the different versions you're going to have. The first kind looks like this. You'll enter into an area that has a whole bunch of pillars all over the area, and then you'll run into these little balls, these little droids that are walking around or floating around in the area. On the droids, you will see a sequence of symbols with a sequence of dots above them. So you can see on this one, the like the X looking thing is a 1 dot, then the right side C is a 2 dot, the pillar is a 3 dot, and then like that alien symbol is a 4 dot. This is the sequence that you're trying to solve for when you're going through and doing the pillars. Next, you'll go up and you'll find pillars that you'll need to damage. They'll have these tumors on top of them. And when you destroy the tumors, underneath them, they will show a symbol. Now look at this as if it were a stoplight. This one was super confusing for me at first, but if you look at it and you look at it as if it were a stoplight, the first one on top of the pillar is the number 1 slot, then second, then third, then fourth. So this pillar that we're looking at right now that has the C in the very bottom location on the pillar, that means that the correct sequence will have a C, a backward C, in the 4th slot with 4 dots above it. There's going to be a bunch of duplicate drones running around with different sequences on top of them. You'll need to match the correct sequence by figuring out what it is from the pillars on top, and then go activate the correct drone that's floating around. So you see, I know that C is in the 4th slot. I look at that one, C is in the 1st slot. That one's incorrect. We go to this one here, C is in the 2nd slot. That one's incorrect. We come up here, C is in the 4th slot with 4 dots above it. This is the correct drone. You activate it and stay in its bubble until all of them explode, and you will be granted a weapon. You use this weapon to either deal damage to a boss that's immune or break open a door by shooting the tumors on top of it. On average, you only need to look at 1 or 2 of the symbols. You can probably like 80% of the time look at only one of them, but there will be duplicates, like in this case where we had C in the final slot. Sometimes there will be 2 drones that have C in the final slot, and so to make sure you don't get screwed over by duplicates, you do want to try and go for 2 each time. And see, we got it wrong there, so I did 1, guessed on it, and then end up a duplicate there, so we'll want to do multiple. For hitting the tumors, it is just number of hits that matters. So there's a lot of characters that hit in AoE, like Bunny or Valby, that can clear these very quickly. There are some characters that have pretty good weapon scaling as well in different hits. One of the fastest weapons in the game is the Blue Blood Bloomer. You can also use shotguns that have multiple hits per shot. It's not the amount of damage that you deal with the weapon or ability, it is the number of hits that matters, because it's every instance of hit on these tumors does 1 damage. You just need multiple hits in order to clear it. So launchers can be okay at clearing this out. Characters that have a lot of AoE can be good at clearing this out. And in general, the dungeons do have high damage in, so you want to have enough defense to survive while you're doing these mechanics. And in some of these dungeons, you'll run into the same mechanic, but instead of having to shoot a door, you have to shoot a boss. You have to shoot them 3 times with a debuff icon you can see under their name. Once you get the gun by doing the proper Simon Says mechanic, you have to shoot them to get rid of those debuffs so that you can actually make them damageable. And then a yellow bar will appear under their health bar that shows you how long they're damageable for. So either you one-cycle them and destroy them before that yellow bar goes down. That's just a timer for the phase. You can burst them down this way, do as much damage to them as you can, and then once that hits 0, they'll go immune again. The pillars will respawn. You'll have to do the same mechanic, and you keep cycling this until the boss is dead. And likewise, you will have a timer on it that shows you the gold, silver, and bronze markers for how long you need to complete. And again, if you don't think you're going to make it through the gold or silver marker, I would recommend just escaping, going to Albion, and restarting, because once you complete the dungeon, it will consume one of your charges for that dungeon for the day, and you will be missing out on possible rewards if you're not doing gold every single time. Next up, you'll see the Simon Says door color combination. You'll go into these dungeons, and in the middle, you will have a mission marker for a floating platform up in the sky. So you'll need to get to the platform and get on top of it. For these, I recommend running long distance maneuvering so you can actually reach these easier. But once you get on top of the platform, all of the invisible platforms, so like right now you see there's no platforms around, like in the area around the dungeon. These are invisible unless you get really close to them or you're on the like guardian platform in the sky. So as you step on this, you can see that all of them appear and can be viewed for their color. So you'll see all of these around and they all have a marked color. Once you step off this guardian platform, they will all disappear and they'll lose their color as well. So you need to remember where the colors are, because when you look at the door will have a sequence of colors on it. So you go up here, you look at the door itself will show you the 3 colors or 4 colors that you need. So you see this over here in the corner. And all you have to do is make sure that you light up the colors that are shown on the door in order to unlock the door. So the process is to get up on the platform, see what colors are around, look at the door, and then unlock the right colors by standing on the platform to reveal it. And elites and enemies will spawn to deal damage to you, so you memorize it, get on top, stand on top of it, and complete it in order to clear it as fast as you can. Kill the mobs to get extra HP or ammo while you're doing it, and then if you forget one of them, you can just activate a platform, go back on the main platform, and then try to clear it that way. And for those circles, order doesn't matter. You just need to have the right ones activated. The other version is going to be this right here. So you can see how as we go into the last sequence, there's going to be a boss enemy that has a bubble around them. And this bubble will have a color associated with it. For some reason, sometimes there's two colors and it doesn't seem to matter. Look at the bubble that's on the outside, the furthest away from the elite monster. That is the bubble that will allow you to damage it. So you see how this boss enemy that we're facing right now has a red bubble around them. Rip people that are colorblind, it's probably going to be very hard to complete this, but in this case you're going to look at the color, and then in order to damage the target you need to be standing on the circle that matches that color. So if they have a yellow bubble, you need to stand on a yellow platform. If they have a red bubble, you need to stand on a red platform. So you find the right platform, and while you're standing on it, you will be able to damage them. You need to do enough damage to break the bubble, and then they will become vulnerable to normal damage when you're not standing on a platform, and then you have the same timer go down. If you finish them in one cycle, you're good to go. If not, you'll have to do the same thing again. They'll become immune, stand on the platform, do enough damage to break the bubble, then you can step off the platform and do damage on them and cycle them that way. And those are the three that we've seen so far, either through the tutorial mission or the 2 dungeons that were there today. The dungeons do rotate every single day, which means that every 24 hours we'll get a new set of 2 dungeons. There might be new mechanics, and if there are, I'll be sure to cover those in a separate video, but these are the mechanics that are here. It's pretty straightforward once you've gone through it once, but they do a pretty bad job about explaining what's going on with the effects and with the colors, and in some cases can be pretty tough for some classes. Then once you've done your 4 dungeons for the day, and I recommend doing it because you get 5 million gold, which is a lot of gold. That's like a full hour at a premium grind spot. Then once it's done, it'll go back to normal. You will still get some overworld activities like missions on hard mode that will give you your progression for your invasion mechanic, but doing those every day will give you a bunch of gold, good resources, and in some cases can be pretty fun for some people, though for other people it might be a little bit too stringent. For this, I would recommend running with some weapons that are really clean. The Blue Blood Bloomer has the highest fire rate out of any firearm in the game, so if you want to firearm shoot the pustules, the tumors on the things, Blue Blood Bloomer is great for that. You can also get some shotguns, like the Executor shoots 15 pellets in one shot, which means that you can aim up at the pillar and shoot a whole bunch of them and blow them up. Remember, the tumors die in a number of hits, not amount of damage done, but you can also run, Descendants that have lots of AoE or really good clearing on that. And on top of it, you really do want some defense for this because the enemies do hit pretty hard in the invasions. So running like Ajax with a jumping jacks build can be pretty strong. Kyle can also be pretty strong, or really anything that kind of works on that. You're just trying to get enough clear speed to get through and get the value that you need. And to get Haley, you'll need 36 of her chips, 36 catalyst rings, stabilizer components, and reinforced cell DNA. You will get this from a mixture of hard mode dungeons listed here, from the mission monsters. You can just run these to clear mission monster drops, get consumable drop mod on your sensor to get a higher chance at that, and also just run your invasions every day. You'll eventually get all the pieces that you need. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.